Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture series on general psychology. Today I'm here with another topic on personality. I am your Dr. Olivia Kakati Sharma. I am a psychologist and researcher who's also UGC NET qualified, and I have completed my PhD from the University of Delhi, and I have also completed. Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture series on general psychology. Today I'm here with another topic on personality. I am your Dr. Olivia Kakati Sharma. I am a psychologist and researcher who's also UGC NET qualified, and I have completed my PhD from the University of Delhi, and I have also completed my master's in clinical psychology from Christ University, Bangalore. So let us begin our journey into personality for today. So we'll talk about the nature and definitions of personality. Then we'll move on to the concept of self. Then we'll talk about the biological basis of personality. Then we shall be touching upon briefly on culture, gender, and personality. Then we shall be discussing in detail on all the major theoretical perspectives on personality. And finally, we'll wind up today's lecture with personality assessment methods. So over these few hours, we'll talk about all these concepts. So let us begin. So let's begin with nature of personality. So as the name itself suggests, personality has to do with the person, right? So it is everything, it encompasses everything about what the unique patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving are. Okay, so since it has to do with the person, it is always unique in nature, and it encompasses everything from how a person thinks, how he or she feels, as well as how she or he behaves. Okay, so if we have to define personality, it can be defined as the unique and relatively stable. So it can be defined as the unique and relatively stable patterns a person has of their thoughts, emotions, as well as their behaviors. Okay, so few things are important to note here. One, that these patterns are very unique to each person. Two, that these are relatively stable. Why relatively stable? Because though our personality does evolve over time, but it is more or less stable and consistent over our periods of development. Okay, and what are these patterns? These are patterns of one's thoughts, that is how a person thinks, our emotions, that is how a person feels or emotes his or her expressions, and finally behavior or the observable actions. Okay, so these are the relatively stable patterns of these three things which sort of characterize an individual. Okay, and it is again very important to note here that these are not some passive characteristics. These are very dynamic in nature. Okay, these are ever evolving yet relatively stable, and also they are very organized and integrated. Okay, our personality characters are ingrained within us. They are integrated with every part and parcel of our life, as well as they are organized patterns that we witness. Okay, then also another reason why we call it dynamic is because we are social beings, right? We organize and adapt ourselves and also evolve, yet there is some part of us which remains consistent over time and across situations. Okay, that is why it's called dynamic. Why? Because it's ever evolving. but also in some manner consistent and, organized and integrated in our personality. Okay, so it is like an organized and integrated system which involves interactions among the various psychological components that we have, which are our thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Okay, as well as our motivation, how we are, directed towards a behavior, or how we sustain a particular kind of behavior is also motivated by our personality. Okay, so while personality is sort of, influenced by both heredity and environmental factors, the balance of, these influence can sort of vary across one individual to the other, as well as across various culture. Okay, so it is influenced by both heredity and the environmental factors, but to what extent these factors influence us, varies across different individuals and across cultures. Okay, now coming to the characteristics of personality, let us begin with the key characteristics of personality. So the number one key feature of personality is our organization. Now, what do we understand by organization? So organization means that our traits and as well as our behaviors are not just random. Okay, it's not like randomly we'll exhibit this trait today, that trait today, or this behavior today, and that something very, very drastically different tomorrow. Okay, they are sort of structured in relatively predictable patterns. Okay, there are patterns which can predict how a person is going to act or behave, or what his or her inherent and acquired traits are. Okay, so this is one key feature of personality, that our traits as well as our behaviors are structured in relatively predictable patterns and not random. Okay, number two is that our personality is consistent and there is an element of stability. Okay, now what do we mean by that? So despite, different situations, our core traits, the core, traits that we exhibit remain stable over a period of time. Okay, that is why I say that personality is consistent as well as relatively stable over a period of time. Number three is dynamic and adaptive. So dynamic, I have already explained how, why is it dynamic? Because our personality allows change as well as adaptability or adaptation to our ever-changing environments. Okay, so though there is some part of our traits or our core traits which remain consistent over time or which are stable over time, but there is always an element of our personality which is changing and ever evolving to adapt to our ever-changing environments. Okay, and finally, the fourth characteristic is that there are some psychophysical systems which are at play. Okay, so what are these psychophysical systems? So if I have to put it in the words of Allport, who is a very famous personality psychologist who talked about traits. Okay, so in the words of Allport, personality arises from both the biological systems as well as our psychological systems. So that is why it's called the psychophysical system, because in the words of Allport, personality arises from both the biological systems as well as the psychological systems. Okay. Now, what are these biological systems and the psychological systems that we are talking about? So, biological systems like our, nervous system or different brain areas involved in personality functions, and psychological systems or psychological aspects like motivations, values are all responsible for the kind of personality that we have. Okay. So these are some of the characteristics of personality that you need to know about. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the historical development of personality theories. Okay. So when we talk about the history of personality, the study of personality has, deep ancient roots. Okay. Starting from the ancient medical systems such as those of Hippocrates or Galen, who sort of classified individuals based on what? Bodily humors. Bodily humors. So what did they say? That based on, bodily humors or the bodily fluids that one has, individuals can be classified into different types like that of sanguine, choleric, melancholic and phlegmatic types. And melancholic. Okay. So they said that, based on the different kinds of bodily fluids that we have, we'll discuss these types in detail when we do the type and trait theories. But for now, they were basically in early ancient Greece, okay, early ancient medical systems. Hippocrates or Galen, they classified individuals based on bodily humors into these types, okay. Fast forward to the 20th century, we encountered, thinkers like Gardiner Allport, who emphasized on the uniqueness of individuals, okay. Allport talked about the uniqueness of individuals, okay. And then onward to the works of Henry Murray, who emphasized on the concept of psychogenic needs, okay. So he basically talked about needs, okay. It is our needs which drive personality according to Murray. Okay, who's Henry Murray? Do you remember? What is one famous test attributed to Henry Murray? Food for thought. Okay, I'll answer this a little later in the lecture. So, and finally, also the works of the likes of Gardiner Murphy, who stressed on the importance of social contexts. Okay. So, the likes of Gardiner Murphy emphasized on the role of environment, society and culture in the development of our personality. Okay. So, each of these scholars in some way or the other have helped shape how we understand personality today. Okay. From the very ancient works, that of Hippocrates and Galen to the 20th century, advances like that of Allport, Murray and Murphy. Okay.